This is Nene, a young professional who is currently undecided on how to invest her capital. Meet Lead Bobo, an experienced financial advisor working at Lead Capital PLC.
Lead Bobo, I've been feeling a bit lost when it comes to investing. I know I need to start planning for the future, but I'm not sure where to begin.
Have you heard about Lead Capital PLC? Lead Capital Group is a financial organization that owns a few subsidiaries through which it provides an impressive array of financial services that could help you grow, manage, and retain your wealth. Some of their products include the Lead Fixed Income Fund, a stable and reliable investment option backed by high-quality bonds that provide consistent returns with low volatility. The Lead Balanced Fund, which spreads your capital across various stock options, bonds, and other asset classes to provide you with growth potential while optimizing your risk management.
Thank you, Lead Bobo. You've given me a lot to think about. I'm excited to explore this investment solution from Lead Capital PLC and start building a well-rounded portfolio.
Excellent, Nene. If you have any more questions or inquiries, Lead Capital PLC has a team of amazing customer care representatives who are always ready to provide you with answers. You can reach them via email at customerservice@leadcapitalng.com or call them on 020 18888 564. That is 020 888 8564 or 020 1271 5254. Lead Capital. Hi there. Are you one of those people who have been looking for how best to invest their capital but have been unable to find a suitable way of doing so? Guess what? Lead Capital has got you covered. With their impressive array of financial products and services, Lead Capital offers you the opportunity to invest your capital in a well-balanced portfolio that offers you financial security and growth. With the Lead Fixed Income Fund, your capital is invested for a minimum of 90 days. But guess what? You can be assured that your money is exposed to very low risks and your dividends are paid out biannually. They also have a Lead Balanced Fund that exposes you to slightly more risk than the Fixed Income Fund. However, this fund also offers you biannual dividends, greater returns, and a minimum holding of 90 days. Also, if you are looking to secure your funds from the depreciations associated with the Naira, Lead Capital has a dollar fund that helps you invest your capital in dollar instruments for a period of 180 days. However, they pay out your dividends biannually in dollars. And if you are a big-time Odogu looking to invest a serious amount of money, Lead Capital has also got you covered. With the Lead Gazelle portfolio, you could invest a minimum of $1 million for a minimum of 90 days and begin to enjoy some impressive returns on your investment. Also, with an investment of $50,000 to $200,000, Lead Capital PLC offers you the opportunity to hold private portfolios with them, where your capital is exposed to medium risk, your coupons are paid to you biannually, and you enjoy the world of Eurobonds, where you could earn interest on your capital investment in various foreign currencies. For more inquiries, reach out to Lead Capital PLC today with any of the contact information displayed on your screen, or reach out to us via our website at www.leadcapitalgroupng.com. Thank you. Lead Capital PLC, your guide to financial security.
Good morning, our esteemed investors, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's session. My name is Linda, and in this session, I'll be giving insights on the recent performance in the equities markets, coupled with insights into the key drivers, projection, and actionable recommendation as we begin the new week. Okay, so last week we saw the performance of the market. Monday, the markets gained by 6 basis points. Tuesday, there was a 24 basis point which was gained, played on the positive zone. Wednesday, we had 8 basis points on the positive region as well. Thursday, same thing followed. We had 125 basis points. That's the positive region as well. But on Friday, the market closed, had a negative of 80 basis points. So looking at the pie chart representation, the percentage contribution of various industry to the market activity, where we have the financial service topping the list with 74% contribution of the total activity, followed by other sector, which accounts for agriculture and the other items, gave us 12% overall activity. Then we had the service sector accounted for 9%, while the ICT sector accounted for 15%, showcasing a moderate level of activity. Investors traded a total of 4.7 billion shares valued at 85.4 billion on the floor last week, compared to 2.6 billion shares valued at 9.74 billion from the previous week. The financial service industry dominated the activity chart, recording a total of 3.47 billion shares valued at 40.79 billion, contributing a total of 73.86% and 47.97% to the equity volume and value. The service industry ranked second with 407.03 million shares valued at 2.2 billion, followed by the ICT industry, which posted a turnover of 237.68 million shares valued at 3.6 billion. Wema Bank, First Bank, and Investor Insurance PSC led the trading activity by volume, accounting for 1.6 billion shares, valued at 20.8 billion. These top three equities contributed a total of 35.74% to the total equity volume and 24.5% to the total value. The All-Share Index and market capitalization saw gains of positive of 1.85%, closing at 105,451.06 basis points and 64.3 trillion respectively. Sectoral performance under our coverage, the NGS banking appreciated, gained 1.35%, while the insurance, the industrial, and the oil and gas, they closed on a negative note, bringing the month-to-date performance to a positive region of 2.45%. Okay, so on the dividend expectation and the projection, by February towards March, we'll start seeing corporate actions being rolled out, where we now know the direction by which the projected final dividend will be. But for the meantime, the projection for the dividend is based on the quarterly results, and Access Bank in the last year paid a total of 1 naira 80 kobo, but following the improved results in the last 3 quarters, we're projecting that it may still remain same as we try as much as possible, to look into their results and see what the Q4 result will be. Then that will give us an informed decision on what the final projection will be. While on the UCAP, due to the bonus and the interim dividends they declared and paid off, we are expecting the final dividend to be around 1.50 naira. Speaking to Dangote Cement price, the industrial segments of the equities market have been facing macroeconomic challenges, and to this end, we are projecting that for Dangote Cement, they paid a dividend of 30 naira last year. We are expecting same to repeat itself should things be equal. However, once the final result is released, the corporate action is rolled out, we will keep updating the slides accordingly. So on our weekly recommendation, we have item 1 to 26 under the buy recommendation, as these stocks are currently trading below valuation, which pose a good entry point for investors to take position either for capital gains or dividend payment. While on item 27 to 30, we are placing it on hold as we keep monitoring the corporate actions. We will give updates accordingly. Item 31 to 36, we have it under the sell recommendation as they are currently trading above the target price, as it poses an opportunity for our investors to realize some gains. Now, this recommendation is an extraction from the overall list, which have been sent out already. If you look through your emails, you find them there. So for the purpose of this presentation, we did an extraction from the original list. So on our market expectation for the new week, we anticipate the buying interest to outweigh the profit taking, resulting in a positive market trend for the week. And for the market activity, we expect it to remain upbeat as investors take position in stock with attractive entry prices, driven by expectation of the corporate action. This week, profit taking may occur, particularly in stock that have experienced significant gains. However, it's likely to result in a bullish market, pushing the NGX All Share Index further to a positive territory. So what do we expect from our investors? We expect that you accumulate blue chip and fundamentally sound stocks to strengthen your portfolio, as well as rebalancing your portfolio to include stocks offering strong dividend yields to enhance return on investment. So with this, we've come to this morning's presentation. I'll be handing you over to our fund manager, Mr. Samuel, who will be doing justice to the fixed income space.
Okay, good morning once again to all our esteemed clients, and very quickly we'll run through the activities at the fixed income market. Last week, okay, probably we should just do some introspection, and since the beginning of the year, we've seen the trend in the fixed income markets, and the summary of the trend would be a gradual decrease in rates across board. For the money markets, for the money markets, we saw that the funding rates are slightly increased by less than 100 basis points for both the open buyback rate and the overnight rate. For the open repo rate, we saw a 54 basis points increase, and for the overnight rate, we saw a 61 basis points increase. And that was on the back of the settlement we saw last week. There was an NTB auction last week where about 515 billion worth of D was allotted. So the settlement was on Thursday, and that's impacted liquidity in the system, thereby leading to the marginal increase we saw in the funding rates. And for the treasury bills markets, we saw that the market sustained the bullish trend that it began the year with. So at the beginning of the year, we had seen a gradual moderation in rates in the first week of the year, and the last week we saw a similar sentiment played out. But last week's sentiment was largely supported by the oversubscription we saw at the primary market auction, where I think oversubscription was close, well over a trillion naira. Yeah, oversubscription was over 1 trillion naira. So we saw that investors who lost out on their bids, had to come to the secondary markets to fill some of their lost bids, and that significantly impacted yields level at the markets. At the end of the week, we saw that yields declined by 24 basis points to close at 25.22. And it is worthy to state that, I think we've been consistent with this message since the tail of last year, that we're beginning to see a moderation in rates. And we think that that sentiment is still ongoing as the last, if I'm not mistaken, 4, 5, 6 or thereabout auctions, we saw a consistent decline in rates, and we think that that might continue into the year. And that's just to inform all of our clients that any decision they were looking to take, and now is the best time to do that, being that we're just starting the fresh year, they can get to position ahead. And then also looking at the news around the rebasing of the inflation rates and the GDP, we have a few that once the inflation rate is rebased, we might see a marginal decline in the inflation rates, which will in turn lead to a decline in the monetary policy rates. So overall, that would mean that the rates across the fixed income products will also decline. So it's just to call on us that any decision we're looking to take, we feel now is the best time to do that in order to take advantage of the current elevated rates or yields we have in the market. As earlier stated, there was an NTB auction last week where 515 billion worth of Nigerian Treasury bills on offer. We saw a total subscription of about 1.5 trillion naira. That's over a trillion naira above the amount offered. With the bulk of the subscription on the 1 year, we saw a total subscription of 1.4 trillion as against the 385 billion offered. But at the end of the auction, rates at the 91 and the 182 day, they closed flat. They've maintained this level for, I think, the past 2 months now, 18 and 18.5%. While for the 364 day, we saw a 28 basis point decline from 22.90 to 22.622. And like I said earlier, we see this trend continuing. And so that simply means we should make up our mind and decide on what we are doing as the year runs by. For the bond market, we saw a slightly different direction at this market as the market closed on a bearish note. And that wasn't surprising because we saw some sell-offs, particularly on the short end of the curve last week. Yields had gotten to a level, okay, the way the market works, the market revolves, just like the equities market also revolves. When prices are at a comfortable level, you see people take profits. So we saw that happen last week where particularly, I think at the short end and on the 2053, we saw some profit taking as the market has gained has touched a high that it hasn't gotten to in recent times. So that sparked some sell-off sentiment, and that in turn led to the market closing on a bearish note. As at the short end, we saw that the yield increased by 8 basis points, while at the mid to the long end, we saw an average increase in yield of about 9 basis points. The maturities that saw most activities were the 2026, the 2027s, and the 2032s. Those on the short end. And the 2053s also stood out as we saw some activities on that end as well. Just as the graph there pointed out, we can see that the yellow line towards the 28-year bond, that's the 2053, we can see that rates are beginning to decline on that end. And then if you look at the short to the mid end as well, you can see that tiny yellow line, orange line rather, also showing that actually tells us that the level they were or they closed last year, we're beginning to see a gradual decline in those levels. And the moment yield starts to decline, it means that these assets will become more expensive for anyone to buy. So it's just a call that any decision we're making, as a corporate, as an individual, you're trying to position yourself ahead, for the year. We feel like now is the best time to take those decisions. And for our foreign exchange markets, we saw a slight opposite direction, or an opposite direction rather, from where the market opened the year. The beginning of the year, the market opened strong as Naira gained across the forward contracts and also at the spot market. But for last week, we saw a reversal in that as at the official window, we saw Naira depreciating lost about 8 Naira, 98 kobo, which is about 59 basis point decline from where it closed the previous week, to close at 1,543 Naira, 3 kobo. And the forward contract as well saw similar sentiment where Naira also depreciated across the various contracts from the 1 month to the 1 year, as highlighted on the table here. So in all of this, we feel like what our clients should be doing is the most paramount thing. After looking at the activities for the year, activities for the week, what then should we be doing? Then we've also noticed a trend, particularly on the foreign exchange market. At the beginning of the year, we see some demands coming in, particularly from manufacturers trying to position for the year, trying to make orders for goods to kickstart the year. And we've noticed that for the past 2 to 3 years, at least from our review, we saw maybe by next week, we just show a trend of how the Naira had moved at the beginning of the year. So the trend we've seen showed us that we are likely to see a continuous depreciation in Naira, at least for the first quarter of the year, considering what happened last year, 2024, and what we saw in the year 2023. And that simply tells us that we should be looking out for options that can help us hedge against this expected anticipated depreciation in Naira, largely on the back of increased pressure from manufacturers, from investors that are looking to also, mainly manufacturers, basically trying to buy some products, raw materials, machineries for their organizations and their companies. So that then takes us to our various product offerings, where you can get to key into to enjoy or to protect yourself from depreciation we've identified and the returns in the market from our fixed income products. We are happy to announce that in the next 2 weeks, all our funds, the mutual funds, will be paying their dividend. The lead fixed income fund, the lead balance fund, the lead dollar fund, they will be paying their dividend before the end of January. And for those who have subscribed to this fund, I'm sure they can attest to the consistent dividend payouts. For the lead fixed income fund, our interim dividend was at 3.25 kobo per share rather. And we expect that our final dividend will obviously be more than that. So for those that have lost out on this opportunity, this is just a call, for us to take advantage of this. The dividend payout of the funds have been very consistent, which means that you are likely not going to have an instance of non-payment of dividend, as you are likely going to see on some stocks. The dividend payout is consistent, and we are very, very, very certain that this will continue over time. The fixed income fund for fixed income products, the balance fund, which has a mix of both fixed income assets and equities assets, and for our dollar fund, to hedge against the spotted depreciation, you can get to invest in the funds. Eurobond trading as well is also a dollar-based product where you get to invest in Eurobonds with a minimum of $200,000. And for our lead gazer portfolio, now that we are beginning to see the trend of a decline in rates, we think that now is the time to key in your investment for a significant period, whereby even if rate drops tomorrow, you're covered and you're protected. With this, we've come to the end of our presentation. If there are questions, we'll take them at this point. And for questions or clarifications we're unable to provide here, answers or clarifications rather, we're unable to provide here, our customer service channels are open, to take advantage of to answer our inquiries and questions. Okay, we have a question here. Good morning. Any feedback on the listing of Regal bonus share listing?
Okay, good morning, everyone. For the Regency Assurance, it has not been credited. So I think it's still waiting for the SEC approval. So, but we believe before the final year result for 2024 is being declared, they are likely to credit the bonus in such a way that if there is any further corporate action as regards the 2024 financials, investors will also benefit. So we'll continue to interact with the registrars to the company and give appropriate information. Thank you.
If there are questions, okay. Are you hearing anything about WAPCO? I did the listing. What is the payout price, Mr. Shegun?
Okay, thank you once again. No current information as to whether Dangote, West African Portland Cement is delisting. The only information that filtered into the market towards the end of last year was that 83% of the a particular investor will be taken over through a mandatory takeover by another investor from the China. So there is no any information whether they are going to be delisted from the market, but we believe strongly that that acquisition is going to strengthen the company cash flow. And if in the near future they are going to be delisted, they will be listed based on the valuation. We are looking at price above 100 naira based on the current valuation of the company. So in our recommendation, you can still take a strong position in West Africa Portland Cement. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I guess this question is, can you list the stocks to take advantage of right now? Okay. Yes, I think we've sent out our recommendations already, and in the presentation this morning, it was touched on as well. By the time the presentation slides have been sent out, you will see our recommendations. Also, you can also watch out for our daily research emails where we'll make recommendations of which stocks to or decisions to take as regards to the various stocks, whether to buy, to sell, or to hold. Thanks, Mr. Tom. Mr. Nweke, what is the status of Fidelity and GTB public offer results?
Okay, for the GTB, let me speak to the GTB. I think it was on Thursday. We also got a publication from the corporate unit of the center, GTB, that the offer was successful to the tune of almost 59%. And to that effect, the SEC is going to approve it. And I think there's possibility that the bank is still likely to come to the market, either to issue a private placement for them to be able to meet up the 500 billion fund to meet up with their recapitalization. But as it stands now, the SEC is going to approve the public offer, and then it will be credited to the investors' respective sales accounts before the declaration of the final year dividends for 2024. On Fidelity, no updates yet. The only information we got at that time, it was oversubscribed. So we also expect further information from the corporate units of the Fidelity Bank. But we also try as much as possible to engage the FBN registrars today for the further information on the right issue, which is the registrars of the Fidelity Bank.
Okay, thank you. I think you should also speak to FCMB and Zenith. They are public, they are the rights and public offers.
Okay, for the Zenith Bank, we'll see no update yet on the Zenith Bank as well. For the FCMB, they've started the allotment. It was published in one of the national dailies about 2 weeks ago. They were able to make some clarification. Anytime from now, investors' accounts will be credited. And as soon as that happens, we'll also feed the house appropriately.
Okay, thank you. Is MRS delisting?
MRS is not delisting. What they are planning to do before now was that they wanted to be relisted on another exchange. That's NASD. The company is really doing well on the NGS platform. So probably if the board meets and they decide to go to the NASD platform, so those who have it on the NGS, they can start trading on the NGS, on the NASD. If you remember, Aradel was also on the NASD before they now moved them to the NGS. So they were not delisting, but they are only changing the exchange.
I don't get the recommendations on stock to take actions. Okay, I guess maybe there's an issue with your email, but we send that out every day at the beginning of the day and at the end of each trading session. Probably you can send us an email to customerservice@leadcapitalng.com. I'm sure they will be able to get that resolved. Mutual Benefits has not returned to the exchange for a long time. What is going on with them? Quarterly returns not submitted and they remain under NGF sanctions. Yes. Are they going under?
They're not going under as long as they haven't met up with the requirement from the NGS that is expected of every issuer in the market. They will suspend them. A similar thing happened to a few insurance companies and then some other companies like CNI Leasing. I'm sure the management is also doing something about that so that they can meet up with those requirements and submit to the exchange. So they are not going under. The company is still functioning, just that you can't trade on it on the NGS.
Okay. Please, what do you suggest holders who are yet to get the proceeds of the payment from Flour Mill delisting to do?
Okay, it's possible if your account has not been mandated, you will be having issue in receiving the paid off. So we advise you that you can send us an email at our customer service. We'll check if there's a for you to process transfer from you, and then reach out to the Flour Mill registrars. The Atlas registrar that is registrars to that company. Some people made that complaint when they started doing the payoff, and then we reach out to the Atlas registrar. They're able to make clarification. If you haven't received yours, please just send us an email. We'll take our registrars will take it up, and then we'll do the justice to ensure that you get your payment.
Okay, thank you. We can see that some clients are complaining that they don't receive our stock recommendation. For as many clients who are on this call and others who do not get our stock recommendations, we are quite certain that probably there's a mix-up with your email on our record. I would like to suggest that you send us an email, send an email to customer service, and they will profile you so you can start to get daily stock recommendations. What is happening to Suno Assurance?
It's declining. People are taking profit. It's not part of our recommendation. It is assumed the stock is overvalued. There's not anything that is actually driving the company. So if corporate actions, but what is driving is just the market sentiment. So that will continue to play out in the market when stock is not being driven by the valuation. So of course, people will take profit. So that's what is happening.
Okay. What is your take on Champions Bureaus? They seem to be the only bureau making profits, though they have a low float, less than 5% and less than NGX 20 requirements. Is there prospect there? They issued 1-for-7 bonus last year.
Yes, the Champions Bureau, though, is one of the medium capitalized stock, and maybe probably we can categorize as a penny stock. We'll conduct analysis on that, but we focus more on value stock. It's not part of the value stock. We'll try and check on their performance and see maybe probably we can come out with something and advise. But for now, it's not part of our recommendation. But if you're interested in taking any companies in bureaus, you can take a Nigerian bureau. It's part of our weekly recommendation.
Okay, I'm not sure I get this question. Why is Boa Cement? I guess maybe the client is asking, why do we see a Boa Cement on the price list?
The price, meaning the price has not, despite transaction, the price.
The price has not moved, and it's not only Boa Cement and for other companies. What drives market is corporate actions and results. If the company has posted very good results, of course, you see corporate action. Though it's part of our recommendation, because sometimes if you look at industry analysis within a sector, there are certain stock you have to recommend. Looking at the performance of the Boa Cement in that industrial segment of the market, they form part of our recommendation because their earnings per share is greater than the industry average. And then we also use the earnings yields and the price to book ratio. These are the justification why we put it in our recommendation. Maybe probably by the time they declare their final result for 2024, you see movement. It's not only Boa Cement. Similar things also playing out in the Dangote Cement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We would like to thank each and every one of our clients for the engagement, for taking out the time to listen to us. We value your time, and we value you being our customer. And at this point, we'd like to draw a curtain to the session this morning. And we wish you all a very productive and profit-filled week. Thank you.